So I'm making this video because I've recently had an experience with dimethyltryptamine, DMT as most of us know it, and it was one of the most shocking things that I think that I have ever been through. And by the way, I'm 20 years old, so I know I haven't been through much, but this experience has rocked me more than anything has in my entire life. Um, It was out of this world. It was, needless to say, profound. Um, Talking about it and giving words to what it was that I experienced, it really does give it less meaning. But I'm gonna try anyways. So, to give you a little background, I've experienced psilocybin. I've done my fair share of LSD. Um, those experiences were enlightening. They were, but nowhere near what I thought anything could. I thought, acid or some good mushrooms, or at least a high enough mushroom dose of some psilocybin would be enough to, I guess, catch up to what DMT could do to you. I was mistaken. I was. Um, I've learned that DMT is something totally. Uh, there's my phone. Sorry about that. But DMT is totally something that you wouldn't want anyone else to do, for the simple fact of you don't know if they are ready. If you are ready, I feel that it will find you. As weird as that sounds, I feel that it will, if it wants you to know what you know, it will find you in its own way. It found me in a mysterious way. So I'll get started on the experience. So that day, I went and I bought some DMT. It was $120 for about 0.6. It was quite expensive, but I took it home and I just remember, okay, I'm gonna get an oil burner and I'm gonna try to smoke it, just DMT. And it was so harsh the first couple hits, and I loaded at least 50 to 100 micrograms, maybe 150 micrograms, and I loaded these micrograms on the oil burner and I started burning it, and I just remember it was a really harsh taste. It was like smoking rubber. It was like smelling cars racing or something. It was terrible. It was one of the worst. Ugh, gross. I've Oh my gosh, I've seen people do hard drugs like heroin and meth, and I I wouldn't want to be around anyone that smokes heroin, because that pungent, leathery taste is similar to how DMT, I guess you could say, tastes. Anyways, so I'm smoking it. I'm sitting there trying to do it, and I'm not really too familiar with oil burners and how they work. So I was hitting it. It was burning, but nothing really happened. I seen a lot of visuals, and things were more defined, and the borders of things were really bold, and the colors were bright and colorful, and just. But I just remember I didn't really have any type of breakthrough at all. So the next day came, and it was later that night, and I'm laying in bed, and I said to myself, something came to me like, go smoke that DMT. Maybe something will happen. And I didn't want to waste it. Keep in mind, I was planning on saving this for who knows how long. So I took out some weed, and instead of using the oil burner, I just loaded the weed in the pipe, and then I poured the DMT onto the weed, and it wasn't too much. It really wasn't. It was just enough to give it a good layer on top of the weed. So Then I put another layer of weed so I didn't just burn the DMT like crazy on the first hit. So I got my lighter out and I started smoking it, and everything started to change slowly. So slowly that I didn't even notice it was coming on. But when it did come on, it was about two and a half bowls later, I noticed what had gone on. I noticed my reality that I was in had changed. I was perceiving things in a new way. I know that you could sit here and you could tell yourself, "Oh, I could imagine things. I could put myself in those shoes." But for some reason, I even thought that I could relate to things, and I'm empathetic and I could relate to people's shoes. And if you tell me a situation, I could relate to it on the fact of that, based on facts and opinions that I've come across in my life. I thought maybe I could put myself in someone's shoes. But until being on DMT, it taught me that you never can know what a situation is like unless you could feel it. There's a difference between knowing and feeling, and what I felt on the experience was so correct. Everything about it was just there. I was one with the world, and the world was one with me. It was more like I was one with the universe, because there was nothing that related me to the world. I felt like I was one thing in this huge, vast universe. But the thing about it is, it sounds depressing when you say it like that. It sounds like you're so unimportant. But this thing comes upon you, I don't know what it is, and it tells you you are unimportant. But it's in a beautiful kind of way. It's that, I don't know, you are one with everyone, and everyone is one with you, and everything and is one with you. It's a peaceful feeling. It's undescribable, so I'm having trouble capturing the words that capture its beauty, but needless to say, it was more than I could have ever expected in my life. I remember when it dawned upon me, it hit, and I was scared because of the reality that I was in. I was really scared. So I got up and I went, I'm gonna go lay down. It was so weird. I've been drunk, I've been high, I've smoked weed, I've done narcotics, I've done, like I said, mushrooms, and I've done acid, and a lot of the time my mind gets really loopy, and I get, I'm a little different. I'm not really the same person as I was. Or, when you're drunk, you're intoxicated. You really don't have control of your thoughts, and you're kind of, no, not really control of your thoughts. It's more of, you're just different in your own way. But on DMT, I didn't have control of my mind, because the thoughts that I'm going to begin to tell you that happened were so random that I didn't even think that I could imagine the things I imagined. But how do I say, my mind was there. I knew what was going on, and I could relate my old life to the life that I was in when I was on DMT, and I was rational. I can make a rational decision, and I just wasn't stupid. That's how I can explain it. I was very rational. I was still the same person, but the things that were happening to my brain were unimaginable. I was seeing things that were so crazy. I remember seeing a sphere with waves that were all coming out. There was millions of waves on them, but they weren't waves like ocean waves. They were like waves of like a cable cord of a charger, and it's flexible, but they were all waving in their own pattern, at their own geometric pattern, just at the same exact, they were in sync, and it was so crazy. But then that ball would, and it would explode into, not explode, but it would morph so elegantly and so beautifully into something different, something I couldn't imagine right now. I couldn't, and it was so detailed and colorful. I remember there was a sense of knowing this was home, this was peace, this is it. Wow. I remember in the beginning I was so scared because I thought my mind was going to be like that forever. I said to myself, wow, if my mind stays like this forever, how am I going to go to work? So anyways, I remember just directing all that energy towards the end and using it so positively towards life. And ever since, I've been so goal oriented. My life's changing and things are better and brighter, and I love life. And that's my DMT experience.